Look up at the night sky. For as long as humans have existed, we've gazed upward in wonder, searching for meaning in the stars. The vastness above has always inspired curiosity, hope, and a sense of possibility. Whether from a city rooftop or a remote mountain, the stars have called to us, whispering of worlds beyond our own. For centuries, the heavens were a realm of dreams and myths. Ancient astronomers charted the movements of planets and stars, weaving stories of gods and heroes into the constellations. Civilizations built monuments aligned with the cosmos, seeking to understand their place in the universe. The night sky was both a map and a mystery, guiding explorers and inspiring poets. But in the last century, everything changed. Humanity broke gravity's chains, launching rockets that soared higher than ever before. We set foot on another world, the moon, turning science fiction into reality. The Apollo missions showed us that the impossible was within reach, and that the universe was not beyond our grasp. That giant leap was driven by a fierce competition between the United States and the Soviet Union. The Cold War space race was about more than technology. It was a battle of ideologies, a demonstration of national pride and human ingenuity. Each launch, each mission, was a statement to the world. Now, a new race has begun. This time, the United States and China are vying for dominance in space. Both nations are investing billions in cutting-edge technology, launching powerful rockets, and planning ambitious missions to the moon, Mars, and beyond. The stakes are higher than ever, as space becomes a new frontier for influence and innovation. But this isn't just about planting flags or leaving footprints on distant worlds. It's about the satellites that power our daily lives, enabling communication, navigation, weather forecasting, and global commerce. Our modern world depends on the invisible infrastructure orbiting high above us. China's rapid technological rise has sparked a quiet yet intense competition for control of space. Their advancements in satellite technology, lunar exploration, and space stations have challenged the status quo, pushing other nations to innovate and adapt. The choices we make now will determine the future of space, whether it becomes a domain of peace and cooperation, or a new arena for conflict and rivalry. Diplomacy, treaties, and international collaboration will shape the destiny of the cosmos. We stand at a cosmic crossroads. One path leads to militarization and competition, with nations racing to control resources and territory. The other path leads to cooperation, where humanity works together to explore, discover, and build a shared future among the stars. Imagine international crews living and working together on the moon or Mars, sharing knowledge and resources united by a common goal. Such collaboration could unlock new discoveries and inspire generations to come. The story of this new space race is not just about rockets and rivalries, it's our story. A story of ambition, imagination, and the choices we make for future generations. As we reach for the stars, we shape the world our children will inherit, and the legacy humanity will leave among the heavens. To truly grasp where humanity is headed in the cosmos, we must first reflect on the journey that brought us here. Our future in space is shaped by the ambitions, fears, and dreams of those who came before us, and by the rivalries that once defined an era. The story begins in the tense days of the Cold War, when the world's two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, turned their eyes skyward. The space race was not just a contest of technology, but a battle for global prestige and ideological dominance. In 1957, the Soviet Union stunned the world by launching Sputnik, the first artificial satellite. This tiny beeping sphere orbiting high above sent shockwaves through governments and citizens alike. Suddenly, space was no longer the realm of science fiction, it was a new frontier, and the race to conquer it had begun. The United States, feeling the pressure, responded with bold ambition. President John F. Kennedy famously declared the goal of landing a man on the moon before the decade was out. This promise galvanized a nation, inspiring a generation of scientists, engineers, and dreamers. The rivalry between these two nations fueled unprecedented advances in science and technology. Laboratories buzzed with activity, and new discoveries came at a breathtaking pace. The world watched as humans achieved the impossible, setting foot on the lunar surface and proving that with enough determination, even the stars were within reach. But as the Cold War thawed, the nature of space exploration changed. Competition gave way to collaboration. The International Space Station became a symbol of what humanity could achieve when working together, with astronauts from many nations living and working side by side in orbit. Yet in recent years, a new rivalry has emerged on the horizon. This time, it is not about clashing ideologies but about technological prowess and national ambition. The United States now finds itself facing a formidable challenger, China. In just a few decades, China has rapidly advanced its space program. It has built and launched its own space station, Tiangong, and demonstrated its ability to send astronauts into orbit and return them safely to Earth. Chinese missions have landed rovers on the Moon and Mars, exploring new worlds and gathering valuable data. These achievements signal China's determination to become a major player in the new space age. As China's capabilities grow, the United States now sees a peer competitor in space. The dynamic has shifted from a solitary race to a complex contest, with both nations vying for leadership, influence, and security in the final frontier. Today, the focus is no longer just on symbolic firsts. Instead, the competition is practical and strategic, centered on control over Earth's orbits, the development of lunar bases, and the extraction of resources from the Moon and beyond. The stakes are higher than ever, with the potential to reshape economies and geopolitics for generations. The echoes of the first space race still resonate, reminding us of how far we've come. But as new players enter the arena and technology evolves, the game has changed. The next chapter of space exploration is being written right now, and its outcome will define the future of humanity among the stars. Why is space so important? It's the ultimate high ground. Controlling space offers military and economic advantages. Satellites are crucial for military operations, providing intelligence and surveillance. Our global economy depends on satellites for GPS, communications, and more. Disrupting satellites would cripple economies and blind militaries. Space is also a symbol of national prestige and technological leadership. For China, its space program is a key part of its national rejuvenation. For the US, maintaining space leadership is a matter of national pride. This makes space an arena of intense strategic competition. The race for space is, in many ways, a race for the future. Space is not just for peaceful exploration, it's a potential battlefield. The line between civilian and military technology in space is blurry. As space's strategic importance grows, so does the development of space weapons. Anti-satellite missiles can destroy satellites, creating dangerous debris. Co-orbital satellites can interfere with enemy satellites. Jamming and directed energy weapons can disable satellites without debris. This arms race in space increases the risk of conflict extending into orbit. The US Space Force was established partly in response to these growing threats. Militarization of space makes the domain less stable. A conflict in space could have catastrophic consequences for all. A war in space would be unlike any conflict in history. The greatest danger is space debris, created when satellites are destroyed. This debris orbits at incredible speeds, threatening other satellites. A large-scale conflict could trigger the Kessler syndrome, making space unusable. The loss of satellites would have catastrophic impacts on modern life. GPS communications and financial markets would be disrupted. A war in space would destroy trust and cooperation needed for exploration. The International Space Station would be in grave danger. Future missions to the Moon and Mars would become hazardous. War in space is not a war we can win. It is a war where everyone loses. The new space race is not just about reaching the stars. It's about returning to the Moon, and this time, staying for good. Decades after the last Apollo mission, the world's leading nations and private companies are once again setting their sights on our closest celestial neighbor. The Moon, once a symbol of human achievement, is now seen as the next great prize in the unfolding drama of space exploration. The Moon is increasingly viewed as a crucial stepping stone for humanity's expansion into the rest of the solar system. Its proximity to Earth makes it an ideal testing ground for new technologies, habitats, and life support systems that will one day be needed for missions to Mars and beyond. By establishing a sustainable presence on the Moon, we can learn how to survive and thrive in the harsh environment of space. One of the Moon's most valuable resources is water ice, hidden in permanently shadowed craters near the poles. This water can be extracted and purified, providing not only drinking water for astronauts but also the raw material for creating oxygen and hydrogen, essential for breathing and rocket fuel. The ability to produce fuel on the Moon could revolutionize space travel, making it possible to launch missions deeper into the solar system at a fraction of the cost. Water is the key to unlocking the moon's potential. By splitting water into its components, we can create breathable air and powerful rocket propellant, turning the moon into a refueling station for spacecraft heading to Mars or even further. But water isn't the only prize. The lunar surface is rich in rare Earth elements and helium-3, a rare isotope that could one day power clean fusion reactors on Earth. Mining these resources could spark a new era of technological advancement and energy independence, making the moon a vital economic asset. Building a permanent base on the moon is a monumental challenge requiring new engineering solutions and international cooperation, but the potential payoff is enormous. A foothold in space, new scientific discoveries, and the foundation for a future spacefaring civilization. As more nations and companies join the race, controlling strategic locations on the moon, such as the poles, rich in resources, has become a key objective. Whoever controls these sites could shape the future of space exploration and resource utilization. Yet the legal framework for lunar resource extraction remains unclear. The Outer Space Treaty, signed in 1967, prohibits national sovereignty over celestial bodies, but says little about mining or private claims. This legal gray area leaves room for interpretation and potential disputes. As a result, we may see a first-come, first-served mentality emerge, with nations and corporations racing to stake their claims and secure valuable territory and resources before others arrive. The moon is rapidly becoming a new frontier, not just for exploration, but for competition and potential conflict. As humanity returns to the lunar surface, the stakes have never been higher, and the outcome will shape the future of space for generations to come. The competition for space and the moon is like a global game of Risk. Nations try to control key orbital paths and resource-rich locations. The south pole of the moon is a valuable territory with water ice. Disputes over territory could play out on the moon. There are no fences or police forces on the moon. This is a new kind of territorial dispute without established rules. The race to the moon has a gold rush feel, with nations rushing to develop technology. Unlike Earth, conflict in space has irreversible and global consequences. A conflict in space could make it unusable for everyone. The stakes in this cosmic game are incredibly high. Given the dangers of conflict in space, cooperation is the logical alternative. US-China cooperation could achieve incredible things like a joint mission to Mars. Cooperation could make space safer by preventing accidental collisions. The International Space Station is a powerful example of successful cooperation. However, there are significant barriers to US-China cooperation. US law largely prohibits NASA from engaging in bilateral cooperation with China. China is building its own space station, creating an alternative to the US-led space order. Overcoming mistrust and legal hurdles requires immense political will. The path of cooperation is possible, but difficult and uncertain. We are at a critical moment for humanity's future in space. The Outer Space Treaty of 1967 is outdated and has significant gaps. Without updated rules, the risk of conflict grows every day. New international agreements are needed for long-term stability. Humanity stands at a fork in the road. Suspicion and conflict or cooperation and discovery. A future of war risks squandering the incredible opportunities space represents. A future of cooperation unlocks the secrets of the universe for everyone's benefit. The choice between these futures is up to us. The sky is not the limit. It is a mirror reflecting our choices.